Hello everyone, today I'll be presenting on how mass media affects teens interculturally. So first, what is mass media? Mass media means the communication that reaches large numbers of people in a short time, such as television, newspapers, magazines, and radio. We all know that in different culture settings, mass media can mean a different thing. For example, here in America, mass media can be all these types of television, newspaper, magazines, and radio. But such countries that don't have those type of things, such as they might not have access to magazines or other type of radio stations or things like that. For every different culture, it can mean a different thing. So, what are some mass medias that has cultural influences? Some mass media that have cultural influences can be television, news, social media, magazines, and radio. So, in every country, we see that every different culture setting in everyone's lives daily, especially teenagers, what we're focusing on for this presentation, digital media is not only being compromised to only social media, but what is mainly being focused in what is entering their brain. The reason I am doing teenagers is because it has the biggest effect because the brain is still developing. It is at an age of a human being when they're receiving the most information that will affect their future. So, the world tends to do this, noting that teens are no more slightly different towards a social category because worldwide teens have more agency than children, develop more elaborate peer cultures around them, consciously construct public and private selves, and challenge the convention of adult life. So, how does it influence teens? How does mass media influence teens? I'm going to be giving 3 points. So, the first point is by changing the perspective and ethically influencing them through social media. Second reason, it can influence way of thinking and ethics, but more formally regarding the education of teens. Third, it influences a teen's health environment. So first, changing the perspective and ethically influencing them through social media. So teens, they are constantly being poured into about the cultures around them while they're not realizing what atmospheres are creating a new environment for them. So when they're on social media, they are in a new cultural environment. So when they enter, let's say Netflix, they start watching a show. Let's say an American teenager starts watching a show that is based off of a Colombian producer. So whatever he watches on that show, he's being influenced by the culture of that show, and he is receiving information and details that create a new environment for him. Another example that I can give you guys is, let's say, Twitter. Twitter is a huge media platform where people express themselves and their thoughts and quotes. They're very open about themselves. So, specifically during this research paper, I started focusing more on the homosexuality and the LGBTQ community. With the rapid rise of internet use among children and youth, exposure to explicit sexual material and vulnerability to online sexual interactions with others has been increased concern to parents and society. The reason this is happening is because literally everything that a child or a teenager is watching, it is information that is being processed into their brain and they're feeding into it. So the reason there's a different culture setting is because comparing to other cultures and being influenced by media would create an online environment where one would find himself safe and accepted because most perspectives of the LGBT plus community are being taught online. So let's say a child is struggling with his self identity. He is saying that he is gay, and in his home culture, where let's say it is involving his parents, his family, his church setting, where they're all saying that it is bad, and they start judging him, and he feels like he's being attacked. If he goes to the social media, he would feel an environment where he feels safe and he would feel that it is okay and he feels normal. So that's a culture where he feels accepted and he feels safe. Because online, that is what it is being portrayed, that it is okay and he feels that he is being accepted. So, some problematic experiences would be movies, TV shows, social platforms, and influencers. So, we see movies that have many gay and lesbian and lots of shows that portray that community, including TV shows. Second, it can influence way of thinking and ethics, but more formally regarding the education of teens. Media influences the brain and knowledge at a young age without realizing how strong the effect is. So when it comes to education of teens, the brain is still developing. Of course, our brain is always developing, but when it comes to at a young age, whatever information that we are constantly receiving, it is being processed, and it is what develops who they are to be when it becomes an adult. It can affect their decision making. It can affect their way of thinking. It can be like affect how a parent like they're gonna be. 94% of teens who go online using a mobile device do so daily. Teens use multiple platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat, and are the most popular. And 71% of teens say they use more than one social media site. Some mass media influences are not influenced by personal use but by environment. So this is mass media that does not have to mean online. It doesn't have to mean on your phone. It could be an environment all around us, because mass media is not just digital. So school, church, and work are some influences that we um, may be affected as teenagers. Some media effects that we may have through television could be Netflix, Hulu, Showtime, the National Geographic, YouTube. And some media is Twitter, where we would be more affected with politics and that culture. Snapchat, living aspects, so some more personal, people showing their personal living. Facebook would be videos from all around the world, different cultures of every different home setting. Instagram, which is just everything. YouTube, and I didn't put anything for YouTube because YouTube has everything and it's just a whole different world. Um, so, lastly, it influences a teen's health environment, form of thinking, mental health. Online environment where the cultures is more at home online than the real world. We are capable to connect and interact with humans all around the world and be capable to become intercultural minded by just mass media. So the way it affects our form of thinking and mental health is by um, the way that we perceive things and our way of thinking and our choice and our decision making it would be different, because the way we are raised up and how our home environment is different from our online environment. It would cause conflict, and we even cause um, some of like, you would think that it would be wrong for to do it at home, but if you see that it's all right online or it's okay, it would cause conflict and even would cause confusion because of how some things may be brought up at home. So a social media platform that is constantly used all around, and I felt that it was the most biggest social interaction, is WhatsApp. WhatsApp Messenger is a freeware and cross-platform messaging and voice over IP service owned by Facebook. The application allows sending of text messages and voice calls, as well as video calls, images, and other media documents, and user location. So with this app, you can connect with anyone around the world. You can send photos, videos, you can do FaceTime, you can do voice call, you can even send your location, you can send documents and other media, and you're able to connect to anywhere. With that being said, you're able to connect and be interculturally affected. And when I say interculturally affected, I'm saying this, it could either be good or bad depending on how it is being used and how one is using that platform to be used. The amount of time that is being spent online communicating and receiving the influence of different type of cultural views can begin to change and add on to their own personal culture. So whatever culture um, what is being received with all the different cultures all around us online, it is influencing our personal culture from our personal aspect. So with that being uh, influenced into us, it is contributing to that culture within. The social environment, being the greatest multicultural platform, has and always will bring the largest effect to our world today. My question that I will leave you guys to close off is, how can we incorporate this in cultural platform to our advantage? How can we use all the social media platforms? How can we use YouTube that has videos from all around the world. We can learn a new language. We can learn about the dialect. We can learn about how the way people dress, the foods. How can we use that to our intercultural advantage as teenagers, as professors, as students, as anyone of our age? So that's how mass media affects teens interculturally. Thank you.